Action take one.
Yeah, it just takes a minute. Just
Yes,
I've got.
right.
Got your makeup on.
Says we're streaming live on my screen.
Yeah, it's just come up on mine.
Yeah, it has on
Yeah.
mine.
Okay, if we are live and ready to go, is it okay to start, Sandra, with the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find out where I am now. I can't see Zoom. Sorry.
I can see you.
I can see you. Are you okay if you found yourself, Sandra?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay, in that case, it is 6:30 and welcome councillors to Planning and Development Committee. We'll start with agenda item number 1, which are apologies, and that's to receive and accept apologies for absence. Sandra, we have Councillor Jackson in lieu of Councillor David Hamberlin.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you. Item number 2 on our agenda is declarations of interest. To receive declarations of disclosable pecuniary interests and other interests and the nature of those interests relating to items on the agenda. Councillor Jackson.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I'm making a request that an entry be made in the minutes to make it clear that as a member of both the Town and District Council, I will consider all matters at district level, take into account all relevant evidence and representations at the district tier. Therefore, I cannot be bound in any way by any view expressed in the parish tier or by decisions of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor.
Okay.
Councillor Whiting.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Can I just clarify with the town clerk, do I need to declare another interest in the Henry, item 6, Henry Ditchley School, because my grandson goes there now and I have to go and pick him up? Don't take the car, but just wondering whether I needed to declare an interest.
Perhaps it's just best, but I don't think there'll be a lot of people affected by that. It's be more people who live down there would say would be benefit from it. But it wouldn't hurt to put it in the record. Yeah.
Okay, well, if I can do that then, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Item number 3, minutes, and this is to approve and sign as a correct record the minutes of the meeting held on the 15th of September 2020. Copies 1, 2 on your agenda packs. Is everybody read through the minutes and are happy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Move they be signed.
Thank you. I'll sign them and drop them in. Sandra, can I have a seconder?
Yeah.
And all those in favour, please. Thank you very much. Item number 4 is the public forum. To allow any member of the public to address the meeting upon individual items listed on the agenda for a period of no longer than 3 minutes. Sandra, do we have any public with us tonight in the waiting room?
No.
Thank you. So we'll go straight on to planning. So 5.1 is to consider response to the following planning applications, and this is on pages 3 and 4. I will go down and read the highlights and then we'll address each individual item. So it's 20/01048/FUL, which is the change of use from A1 retail to C3 residential apartments at Unit 1A, Wharf Road, Heigham Ferries, and you will read all of the attached. 20/01091/FUL, which is the first floor rear bathroom extension and single story rear extension, removal of chimney and new render finish to complete rear elevation at 87 Kimbolton Road, Heigham Ferries, also attached. 20/01174/FUL, which is the erection of new rugby club house with 4 playing pitches and provision of a new access road from existing roundabout, including creation of a new pedestrian crossing and a 3-metre wide shared footway and cycleway on adjacent highway. And this is a resubmission of 19 201974/FUL, and this is at the land east of the A6 roundabout at Bedford Road. Going over, we have Councillor Reevy has disappeared, Sandra, just so you know, but I will continue.
Right.
20/00445/FUL, which is the submission and amended detail, which is the creation of 39 flats and 3 dwellings, demolition of some buildings on site, change of use of the majority of the site from retail to residential at 4 Higham Road, Rushden. So we will take the top one and we will go through that, which is 20/01048/FUL, which is the change of use from A1 retail to C3 residential apartment units at 1A Wharf Road. And this is pages 5 to 11 on your agenda packs. Would anyone like to start us off, please? Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that they consider that, yes, although they suggest that it would be possibly a disabled person using it, and of course the majority of it is first floor, but therefore, because it was allowed without any garaging or car parking facilities whatsoever for retail, that it's perfectly all right for residential, because they do not intend to provide a car parking space for it. And of course, around that area, the same as the band club just down the road, which we've previously spoken about, they are very short of parking in that area. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I've gone down and had a look, there's not a lot of give on that pavement on the corner for a wheelchair to come in and out, if that is the proposal for a wheelchair use. That was my concern. Councillor Reevy, did you want to come in?
Yes, please. Sorry I disappeared. I don't quite know what happened there, but they also quote that we have allowed change of use in the high street, but in actual fact, that change of use actually did have some car parking with it, and also it's further down Westfield Terrace where in fact there is parking allowed on the road, but this particular premises, it's got nowhere where anybody can park safely near the door at all. Even if it was just to unload shopping, the car would be straddled the white lines to the giveaway lines. So I just don't see how it can be residential. And I know that they say that it's been standing empty for 8 months, but goodness me, surely we all know why.
Sandra, please may I ask, have we, or Alicia, have we had anything from Highways or anyone else on this recent?
Well, I checked on the East Northants Council website today, and the head of Transport, Highways and Infrastructure had made comment. He hadn't objected, or she hadn't objected, and they basically referred to the fact that if it's residential, it's lesser intensification, and so therefore the parking requirements are less than retail.
But do we not still have to abide by NCC parking regulations?
It doesn't refer to that in their comments.
Okay, that's interesting.
Saying that that's the case because there's just not a comment relative to that.
Relative to that. Okay, thank you. Councillor Spencer, would you like to come in?
Yes, thank you, Angela. Personally, I don't think that is a viable position for a residential unit. Following on from, I agree with all the comments made. Also, if you were pulling a vehicle up outside there, surely that would be contravening, it would be so close to the actual junction.
Yes, absolutely. Councillor
Provided, in my opinion, that would be hazardous.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just whether it actually comply with neighbourhood plan. I mean, regarding the parking, I mean, surely there's something in the neighbourhood plan that says we've got to have parking for 2 vehicles, is it, per residence?
Well, it depends on bedrooms.
Yeah, it depends
The
on
question
whether
of number of bedrooms, but this is proposing to be a 2-bedroom.
Yeah, so it should be at least
Theoretically, it should have 2 parking
3
spaces.
parking places, yeah.
I mean, I can't understand how they can suddenly say, no, it's not necessary to have parking space when they insist on other areas, you must have car parking appropriate to the number of bedrooms.
Yeah.
Councillor Reevy?
It also says it's a similar development to one Kimbolton Road, but that Kimbolton Road has got parking for every flat as well. So it's compared that site with 2 other sites within the town, and both have got car parking, whereas this hasn't. So I don't think it's a feasible proposition myself.
Would anyone else like to make any comments?
No, I agree with what's been said.
Yeah, I say from my point of view, and having looked at it and actually looking at the width of the path for entrance in and out, in light of and everything that's going on, and especially the width of a wheelchair and the assistance that would probably be needed for a wheelchair, that gives me the great concern. So I think we all are sharing the same angle on this one.
I think perhaps though the same opinion applies whether it's for a disabled person or not. The fact that they're plugging it, that it would be all right for a disabled person. The same principle applies even if they weren't pushing that.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, isn't it? The fact that it's the actual wording is for a disabled.
Yeah.
And I think obviously if we're going word for word, that's what they're asking us to look at, aren't they? Councillor Jackson?
Well, if it's a disabled person, quite often they have a Motability motor. So therefore, if they are disabled, they need to be as close to the property as possible. So it works against them, I would have thought, by saying we're proposing a disabled person. Thank you.
Okay, in light of all the comments, would anyone like to put a proposal forward? Well, we've all gone very quiet.
I will then. I propose that
Reevy.
I propose that we say that we don't think this is a good development. Lack of parking is a priority, but you know there's other things as well, isn't there? You know, it's not just the lack of parking, even for a disabled person. There's lack of parking for anybody associated with this development.
I'll second that.
Okay, Councillor Jackson is going to second that. So can we have a show of hands for the proposal, please? Oh, that made me jump. Thank you. That's everybody. Thank you. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. I would like to move on now, please, to 20/01091/FUL, which is the first floor rear bathroom extension and single story rear extension, removal of chimney and new render finish to complete rear elevation at 87 Kimbolton Road in Higham Ferries. And this is 12 to 19 on your agenda pack. Oh, Councillor Jackson, you're a quick starter there. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairperson, sorry. Have any of the neighbours objected to this? Because it's quite a large property, so therefore it's a question of really what the neighbours feel, because it is a rear extension. Have you had any objections from neighbours?
There are no objections lodged at present time. It's still out for consultation though, so there may well be more comments to come, but none at the moment on the East Northampton Council website.
I have no objections myself.
It is a very large plot, isn't it? When you actually look at it, it's one of those ones that you look at it on the paper, and then when you actually go visibly look at it, you go, "Oh, that's it." It is quite a large plot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Councillor Reevy.
Can I just say, I wish they'd said what they were going to do with the external part of it, because they said it might be render, but there isn't any. I couldn't see any render on the rest of the building.
On the rear.
Well, I couldn't see that, but is there some at the rear?
Well, I didn't go round to the back.
No.
But, So I just assumed, because it's new brickwork, etc., sometimes they prefer to render because it's easier than trying to blend in to bricks that you can't get the same
You
colour.
can't. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes to render is
Okay.
easier than trying
Yeah,
to
okay, I
hold
can
of a
see
brick
that.
that's no longer in existence.
Or
Does
very
anyone-
Right.
expensive.
Yes, Councillor Whiting.
Thank you. The only comment I've got on that, it said the new render is to be applied to the rear extension. The applicant does not provide a colour and states that this is to be confirmed. So can we add something in as long as the East Northants planning are happy with the render that's done? I didn't see any objections to it, but as long as the render ties in with what East Northants want.
And in keeping, yeah, absolutely. So does anybody else have any other comments that I'd like to put forward?
No.
No, okay. In light of that then, please, can we have a proposal?
Yeah, I'll propose that.
Councillor Spencer, would you like to make the proposal, please?
Yes, I'll propose that we raise no objections subject to planning being happy with the render and the colour.
Thank you very much. Councillor Jackson has seconded that. Can we have a show of hands then, please, councillors? That's everyone. Thank you very much. And we will move on to number 3, which is 20/01174/FUL, which is the erection of new rugby club house with 4 playing pitches and provision of new access road from existing roundabout, including creation of pedestrian crossing, 3-metre wide shared footway and cycleway on adjacent highway. This is a resubmission of 19/01974/FUL at land east of A6 and roundabout at Bedford Road, Rushden, 20 to 29 in your agenda packs. And of course, we've had this one before and we raised no objection at the time that it came before us for the first time. But I have noted that Sport England did object to previous application. So would anyone like to start us off on this one, please? Councillor Whiting.
This is something that's been going on for a long time under discussion. I personally don't see a problem with it, but I think we should make the comment again that everything complies to what Sport England, you know, necessarily need. I mean, I know what these sports clubs are like and what's involved. So I think as long as it meets their specification, I don't see a problem with it.
Yes, absolutely. Alicia, can I ask if anything's been added to this at short notice?
Yeah, I was going to say Sport England have actually responded to the consultation and they are now in support of the application subject to a number of conditions being attached. So they no longer hold an objection as they did to the previous one. So it would seem that the applicant has addressed the concerns that they had previously.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Jackson.
Thank you. The spur lane that it mentions, I went up there today. I hope that they are intending to make it a slight bottleneck, obviously, because access in and out would be very difficult because it is on the actual roundabout. So I would have thought they'd have widened the section so that people could get in easier because it's quite a narrow lane. And they, in the specification, it states that they are going to use the existing spur. Well, hopefully they're going to widen it so that there is a better access in. In other words, so you can get in quicker without having to slow down quite.
Slow down absolutely, absolutely. Would anyone else like to add anything?
No.
No. Okay, thank you. In light of that, we raised no objection last time, and in lieu, obviously, they are meeting the conditions now of Sport England. Do we have a proposal?
Yeah, I'm happy to propose that we, raise no objections, subject to all the conditions, and as Councillor Jackson said about the road.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Councillor O'Rourke.
Second it, that's all. isn't it?
Thank you very much. We have a proposer and a seconder. Can I have a show of hands, please, councillors? Full house. Thank you very much. Thank you. We will go on to number 4, which is 20/00445/FUL. And this is submission of amended detail, creation of 34 flats and 3 dwellings, demolition of some buildings on site, change of use of the majority of the site from retail to residential at 4 Higham Road, Rushden. Again, this is something that we've seen a few times, and it's 30 to 33 in your packs. I do note that there is a very much of a change, and there is a loss of the five flats, if I can say it. Look. Would anyone like to start on this one? Because we objected last time, and we cited traffic and highways and a lot being crammed into a relatively small site. Councillor O'Rourke?
Yes, as I commented on the last time, and yesterday I drove down there, and I suppose it's around about 2:30 time, and it's just a complete nightmare all around that area, around Asda and everything like that. And I can't see how we can have that size of a development in that area. Too much traffic by half.
Yeah, I note this time as well that this has been looked at with East North Hants, hasn't it? So these changes have been made with them. So has anybody else got anything else to add to this? No?
We've said it before, haven't we?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, there isn't a safe way for that many vehicles to
no.
come onto the highway.
No, absolutely. It's really unsafe, and we do have a pedestrian crossing there, and it is very, very busy. Councillor Whiting.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to propose that we raise the same objections as last time, despite the reduction in the number of flats. I still think it's going to cause too much trouble around there. We repeat our objections.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Councillor Reevy. Can we have a show of hands on the proposal, please, councillors? Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, we will go down to the note determinations on page 34. Is everybody read through and are happy with the ones noted?
Yep.
Yep. Thank you. Okay, we will discuss item number 6, which is the car park used by the Henry Chicheley School. And that's to receive an update on arrangements with the school for a meeting to discuss the use of open space opposite Henry Chicheley School for parking by parents. And this is on number 35. Sandra, would you like to come in on this? Is there anything you would wish to add?
No, I mean, I've agreed with the Bursar that they open the car park at lunchtime because they obviously can. I don't know if that's easing it or not, and I've made some temporary signs on the gates to sort of remind people it is just for school parking. Obviously, when I'm happy with the wording, we need more permanent signage. The Bursar did suggest these child-friendly signs that we could put in there to encourage people to park a bit better. I'm not sure if that's something the council should be really purchasing or whether it should be the school doing that.
I must say, I know the signs that you mean. We have them at the infant school. They are really, really effective. They're like in a concertina of little people, and they are very, very effective. I would question the same. I think it is a school responsibility, as all the local schools have taken on that responsibility and purchased them. I do know, having spoke to the infant school with the problem they had with the side road next to the Mugger, they actually did a partial fundraising, partial went to the highways within NCC Education and asked for money to help support that. So that's perhaps an avenue that Henry Chicheley could go down for the road safety element of things. Also, our PCSO, Stephanie Bacon, has also offered to come in on any talks to help either advise parents or be a presence more down there at drop-off and pick-up times, if that's an assistance. Councillor O'Rourke.
No, sorry, I haven't got any, no, sorry, I haven't got anything to say. No.
Okay, Councillor Jackson.
I'm rather disappointed with Henry Chicheley's attitude towards this car park. To my mind, it's a very valuable asset as far as because otherwise a lot of their parents would be causing havoc parking on the roads all round the school.
They do.
But so by not sort of, it only takes a few minutes to lock and unlock. I can appreciate we can't leave it open all night, otherwise you'd end up with lots of vans in there. But I'm amazed at the lack of sort of enthusiasm just to prevent, you know, just to do this small act, just to lock and unlock. And I'm just amazed that they don't realise what a valuable asset they've got. Thank you.
Councillor Reevy.
The little bit outside, immediately outside the front, is that highways?
Yes.
Where they can park.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's very often vans parked in there. Even when school isn't open up at the weekend, they have some vans parked in there. I just hope they haven't put this letter out that they've shown us, because it says in it, so with that in mind and the probable need for it to be open by 2:30, can we request that the car park be left open during the day with the proviso if there is any appropriate use during the day? And surely it should be inappropriate use.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they haven't sent that out yet.
I will add as well that PCO shared with me emails that she has been receiving from residents in the School Lane area around there, saying what an issue it is becoming with the parking there. And we know that we've had issues with the appliances such as ambulances, etc., not being able to get down there. So I think this is something, and I know we were just on the cusp of arranging meetings before obviously COVID lockdown, etc., to get perhaps the governors and PTA on board, because if they can't spare staff, perhaps they could spare a volunteer, was the way my mind was working, or a parent rota in able to help themselves. Councillor Whiting.
Yeah, if I can just come in on that. I mean, I go and pick Max up at 2:45. And by then, the car park is open, people are parking in there, and they do queue up in an orderly fashion to go around and go in the car park. The biggest problem is, as you look at the school on the right-hand side, going down Parkaway, they park down there, and that is the worst bit, because you cannot see round the bend if anybody's coming, and that is the worst bit. But it doesn't seem to be quite so bad now as it was last year, with the fact that they're staggering the coming in and going out times. So, you know, it doesn't seem as bad as what it was, but I think there's still issues to be learnt down there, really.
Okay, Councillor Spencer.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I agree with all the comments of councillors so far. One of our daughters lives at 26 Parkaway down the bottom, and we go down there regular, and it's a nightmare. And it's just the same in a lot of schools around the county. They just pull up and park anywhere to get the kids or drop them off, and leave half the car stuck out in the road, etc., etc. But overall, I agree with Councillor Jackson. I think if we're good enough to let the use of that during hours, I think we probably ought to be, in fact, I'll probably propose it, that they have the use of it, but subject to them unlocking and locking it. I mean, as Councillor Jackson said, it's a great asset for them to be able to use. Thank you.
Councillor O'Rourke.
And I thought that the caretaker was doing that, because when I've been down there, I think down there was the town clerk, the caretaker opened it up about, whatever, a quarter of an hour before or whatever, and then it was like the Formula One sort of coming off the grid, getting into that area. And parking, because they had issues where they were parking all over the grass and everything, and turfing up the grass and everything like that. But so is that not being used at all now then? Because they won't open it.
Would you like to?
Yeah, I think because they've got this staggered times now, they needed it opened earlier, and the caretaker doesn't come back to a certain time. But I have agreed that they can open it at lunchtime, because obviously a member of staff can go out at lunchtime and do that. I'm presuming that's working well. I'll have to get some more feedback. I was happier with that than it being left open from 9 o'clock in the morning, because I thought at least it is closed, so I can go back to and see if that's working. It was requested whether we could have some staff or councillors go down there and help them sort of park a bit better. And as I pointed out, we're not all back in the office. I'm the only full-time member of staff, and a lot of my councillors, with respect, are in the vulnerable area for COVID. So I couldn't ask councillors to go down there. And also some of them, like yourself, Councillor Gardner, have got children to pick up anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think this is going to be, this is a hard one to appease everyone, isn't it? I think parents have to understand that, you know, they're parking and they are the ones ultimately responsible. And again, I always say, but it's the mindset of the parent. If they want to park double yellow on a corner over someone's drive, they're going to, no matter what signs we put in place. And the school are going to have that, and every school has that issue. As far as us paying for signage, I'm very, very reluctant to put that forward as a proposal, because I think it has to be the school's responsibility to take care of any type of signage that they wish to do. Obviously, we will put signage, as you say, Sandra, when you're happy with the wording, on a more permanent basis from our end, but I think the school will have to take half of that responsibility also. Does anybody else wish to add anything else? Councillor Reevy.
Can I just say that we are not responsible for parents parking their cars properly, but I don't think we should be even asked to go down there at all. And to be honest, they're very lucky that they've got the cars parking space. There isn't at the other school. You know, they just have to park, you know, where they can in the Market Square, down Saffron Road, and actually walk a little bit. But, you know, I just don't see why they can't see that they're lucky to have that. They should park properly. If they can't park properly, it should be the school staff that go out to do it, not the town council. On the other hand, if they don't abide by it, we could just say, okay, fine, we'll lock it up again.
We'll lock it up. No, absolutely. Councillor Brown, do you want to come in?
Yeah, I think really this situation's going a bit crazy. We're lending the school a piece of ground. Parents can use it. I mean, everybody knows how to park a car, even if the white markings ain't there. But I mean, to have people down there, it's going to get to the point where eventually we're going to have to walk their kids into school.
Yeah.
You know, they're asking us to help them park. I mean, how far is it going to go?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it's going crazy. And half of it now you get with people. I mean, years ago, parents walked the kids to school. It doesn't matter now, even they live around the corner, they go by car.
Yeah.
We're living in that age, you know.
Waiting. Sorry, yes.
Yes, I'm having heard Nigel say that. There's one car that parks just on the corner of Park Away, just right on the bench, and it's the lady on her own. And I did happen to follow her the other day when I was coming up. I picked Max up and I let her out from the space, and I followed her, and she pulled into a house down in Hacknell Way, just round the corner. So I mean, why on earth she couldn't walk?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know,
I mean,
just
are you?
100 yards.
Can I ask Sandra, are you happy to continue this conversation with Henry Chicheley School? Because I think, you know, you've kind of gauged the councillor's response that we're not going down there, we're not parking attendance, we're not key holders, we are, you know, letting Henry Chicheley use what I think is a fair description, as every councillor has said, is an asset to the school, and you know, they have to take a little bit of responsibility and perhaps go on the edge of educating parents.
Yeah, I'm happy to go back on that basis. I think I just wanted to make sure it'd gone past, you know, the council supported the tact I was taking with them
No, absolutely.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
if I sound really blunt, but it's just as if this has been going on for quite some
has.
time now, and all we
has.
hear about is small problems, which, you know, can solve themselves.
You're just telling the truth, Nigel.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a problem
Okay,
I've
we will
understood.
go on to item number 7 if everyone's happy with the clerk to carry on with discussions.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Fab, thank you. So item number 7 is an items to report, an opportunity for members of the committee to report items and to request future agenda items. No decisions can be made under this item. Does everybody, oh, Sandra, would you like to add?
I just for information, really, you're all probably aware there's roadworks in Midland Road. I did today report them to the county council because I was going up to the Greenway and they had a big lorry unloading something and backfilling the trench. And to do that, cars at the traffic lights are having to be sort of waved forward and having to go half on the road and half on the footpath to get past this lorry. And as a pedestrian, I had to wait till it was clear. So I just thought this isn't on. And I went up the Greenway, came back. So a good sort of 10 minutes later, and they were still there doing that. So I reported to the county council and copied in Councillor Smithers. So act very quickly, he got a team to come out and they've actually spoken to them and they've had to make some improvements how they're managing it. Apparently they should have had a dumper truck rather than this huge big grab lorry. So just so you're aware, and if there's any more issues that you see, just let me know because I've got a contact. So they have been taken to task.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have something, it's for your information, not necessarily to add on an agenda. It's to make councillors aware that CCTV cameras, GoPro cameras they're called, have been popping up on lampposts. It's just to make you all aware. We don't know why, the wherefores, who's done it. But if councillors on their travels could just be aware and looking, it would be greatly appreciated, and either to be reported to myself or Sandra, just so we can let PCSO know if there's any more that keep popping up. That would be super helpful.
What are they, sorry?
They are little cameras. They're called GoPro cameras. People have them on their cars, on their bikes, motorbikes. But some have appeared on numbers, have been taken down now. They were at the bottom of Wolf Road into the Gardenfield estate.
Oh, really?
And they were 2 on a lamppost about 8 to 10 foot in the air. And they were there for about 4 or 5 days. But you know, it's just to make you aware that they have been there. And if anybody sees any, if we could be notified so we could pass them on, because we just don't know who's doing them and why.
It's not an official thing, no.
It's not an official thing. It hasn't come from the police. It hasn't come from anyone at council. Certainly not come from us. Sandra has been made aware, but it's just for your information, so you can have a look on your travels if you see anything, please.
Okay.
Okay. If anyone,
Can I just say on that point, it was reported to me first by a member of the public, and I asked Angela and the PCSO about it. Any CCTV on the street should have signage up to say who's doing the recording, and also if it's private people doing that recording, it's actually a breach of data protection. So it is quite a serious matter because you don't know what they're using those images for.
No, quite.
So I really wanted to make everyone aware. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, for that.
Okay, item number 8, date of our next meeting is the 10th of November.
Oh,
I know, it's getting too close to winter. Okay, so, and that is the end. Thank you very much, councillors, for attending planning and development. And
Thank you.
whoever's on the next one, I'll see you on the next Zoom.